Hello everyone and welcome to this video. Today we'll be creating a project with PcVue and the OCPP add-on. So this will be an overview video with all the information you need to create a basic EV charging project. So we'll be using this file here and we'll start. Okay, so as you can see, this project is completely blank. You can find any settings you need up here in the project settings. But what we'll focus on today is the application architect. So once you're in here, you can see all the library templates, and if you scroll all the way down, you can also see the local files that are already included in this project. So what we're going to do is drag and drop the ChargePoint project into the Instances tab. And what you may have to do is change the ID, the endpoint ID, which is right here. By default, it's set to 8082, but you'll need to change this to your IP address or PC name with the endpoint that's been programmed with OCPP. So we're then going to add a charging point, which can be found in the OCPP16 folder right here. And you may also have to change this according to what your charging point is named. We're then going to add a connector to that charging point. And these connectors, there's nothing to change. They will always be organized in numerical order. So essentially it will be 1, then 2, then etc. Because every charging point can have 1 or more connectors. Now I want more than 1 charge point. I want 8 of them. So I'm going to copy this and paste it into the project multiple times. So we want 8 and there's already 1, so we're gonna paste it 7 more times. Paste. And now we've got all these charging points, we can generate the project in tasks and generate. We can generate the graphical elements as they are included in the library. So once that's done, we can then open the Mimic folder, which will be called LDemo EV charging. So we are now in the charging station view. So we have a visual representation of the project, and as you can see, it has many different tabs, which I will go through quickly right now. But most of it is rather straightforward. So first of all, the Operations tab. The Operations tab, you can find information about the charge points and the connectors. So status, power, temperature, voltage, etc. As well as commands to start or stop the process or control the power limits. The Maintenance tab displays more OCPP features and settings. You can change the configuration settings, conduct hard or soft resets, update the firmware, and from the charge point you can trigger messages, diagnostic messages for example, as well as from each connector that you have, availability and trigger messages. So the Smart Charging tab is where you find, well, the smart charging features. So essentially, we can limit the charging either by current or power. So you can set a ceiling here and send it either to the entire charging point or just the connector that you choose. So we can also set up authorization lists. So we can send an authorization list that essentially determines who can use each charging point, and that list can have different options in different versions. Another OCPP feature is to get diagnostics. So in here you'll find location, start and stop time, how many times you want to get diagnostics, at what intervals, etc. And this last tab is where all the errors will come to. directly from the charge point. So I've simulated an error earlier, but this should be empty for you as of right now. So in order to test this, we're going to connect to our charge point from the simulator. So the endpoint here is the same as the one I showed you earlier that is in the project, as well as the charge point ID. So CP16001 will be the first charge point of the 8 charge points that we've programmed. So once you've connected, you will have to close your current project and restart it in order for this test to actually work. So that's what we'll do right now. So if you go into this tab up here, you will find information and a visual representation of a parking lot with the charging points. So this is just an example, but you can place your vehicles by each charging point. Um, and that will essentially allow you to, allow you to control the charge point and the charging process at a distance. So start or stop it, set a limit, or reserve this charge point for a car, which will lead you directly to the reservation tab right here. We also have an alarm tab, which shows, so first of all, the um, error that I simulated earlier, as well as the vehicles that you've added and the current status. And there's also a transaction tab from where you can see any transactions that have currently been made. So once I'm here, I can reset the error and and start a transaction which simulates the car being plugged in to the charge point. So you'll get a notification change right here, which is set to charging by itself. So normally if we go back in here into the overview, the first charging point will be charging. So as you can see, we're connected to this one, and this is what it looks like on the overview. And so if we go into here, we can connect to the charge point that is charging and stop the process. But let's say we want to connect to a different charge point. So let me just put 2. I'm going to click disconnect, reconnect, and this charge point should be available, right? So we're going to start a transaction, which you'll see the notification here is now charging. So if we go back here, we will see that this has changed, and we can click on it and find all the settings we spoke about earlier in here. So if I want to stop it, I'm going to remotely stop it, and we'll find a transaction log in here. So the latest one will be 2957. And so the stop reason local, you can see energy that's been used, which charge point, so you can filter by charge point in here, and the percentage of charge. Okay, so I've just showed you a project with 8 charge points. However, we can add charge points in the application architect, which I've just done here. Essentially just copied and pasted them. And that will change the layout of the um, charging station overview. So we can do that quickly. So now I've restarted the project, and as you can see, the layout is slightly different. So you'll have to select charging point like this. They don't all show up at the top. However, it works the exact same way. It's just there's a slight change in structure and layout. So that's it for today's video. In the next episode, we'll take a deeper dive into smart charging and its functionalities, how it works, and how to set it up. Thank you for watching.